Finally, we go to Barbados. The Caribbean island has deployed strict safety protocols to help lure tourists back to its shores in the midst of a global pandemic. The island is also attempting to attract digital nomads as a remote working base in an uncertain world, as Isabel Conway now reports.
An armada of cruise ships waits off the coast of Barbados, the easternmost island of the Caribbean. Their lit-up porthole windows twinkling like numerous stars in the inky black night. The COVID-19 pandemic has put the worldwide cruise industry on life support since the spring. So the sight of them comes as a surprise, to say the least. Early on, Barbados rode in with support for the beleaguered cruise industry, providing dock space for a steady stream of ships, assisting repatriation efforts for thousands of stranded crew flown home to all corners of the world. This flotilla of empty billion-dollar pleasure palaces rides out the pandemic storm offshore. Skeleton crews keep things ticking over, moving the hulking ships around in circles before clocking up a few nautical miles and dropping anchor again. It's a waiting game, one unlikely to end anytime soon, despite news of a vaccine now creating a glimmer of hope to ailing global travel providers. The loss of one of its biggest tourism earners helped to spur the authorities in Barbados into action early on to plan for reigniting travel well ahead of competing destinations. Some of the island's leading hotel resorts had reopened by mid-October to welcome new British Airways daily flights from London. Barbados is proud of its handling of the virus, recording only 7 deaths and around 250 cases of COVID-19 up until now. To date, there's been no local transmission nor community spread on this small island, whose permanent population is only 300,000 or less. It's impressive, nonetheless, attributed to strict lockdown restrictions, free public health testing, rigorous quarantine measures and overwhelming compliance. But as COVID-19 infection levels continue to fluctuate elsewhere and this paradise holiday playground opens up to tourism again, protocols are ever stricter to safeguard the safety of the population and visitors. Ireland is a high-risk country. I'm required to show 2 negative coronavirus PCR tests, the first taken 72 hours before arrival on the island and the second similar gold standard test 24 hours later. We're confined to designated parts of our hotel and grounds. That negative result comes back within 10 hours, but in the meantime, there's a knock on my door and a visit from 3 health ministry officials touring hotels to check up on guests. Ignore quarantine regulations and you risk a fine of up to $25,000 and or imprisonment. Barbados is increasing vigilance ever more since the launch of a 12-month welcome stamp, a visa allowing people from all over the world to come and live and work remotely on the island. It's a trend born from the pandemic. Over 1,500 applications have come from digital nomads drawn to the island's relaxed quality of life, superb weather, availability of co-working spaces and other pluses. In return, the island hopes to bring in badly needed foreign revenue. I'm free to roam around and James approaches me on the beach. He's no digital nomad though, but an elderly local man who earns his living selling trinkets to foreign tourists. He even claims Irish blood from one of the indentured workers from Ireland who arrived in Cromwellian times to work on Caribbean sugarcane plantations. Sensing a potential sale, the dreadlocked hawker snaps open a battered briefcase containing necklaces and bracelets made of semi-precious stones with a few imitations in there, I think. Pointing to a pair of cruise ships sitting in the bay, he tells me, "Passengers were good customers. Barbados used to be the best cruise destination of the Caribbean, the top port of call. Good business for us here." Oh, it's hard, man. He sighs deeply, employing 44 years of sales persuasion to shift a tiger's eye and rose quartz bracelet to me, guaranteed to bring luck forever. The island went into strict lockdown from the start of April, putting him out of work for 8 months. This is one of my first sails since I came back here. There's only a trickle of tourists yet, he reveals. Everyone on the island prays for the visitors' return. Enticed by safe travel protocols, Barbados Health Ministry has ramped up. Yet James and others I meet here know it's going to be a slow recovery for now, especially tourism from the United States. The main thing is keeping COVID out and staying safe. We kept the infection down more than other countries could do, and we're all so proud of that here on Barbados. People feel they've helped the island to recover, my new friend adds, with a broad smile, before moving off to try his luck elsewhere. I'm Isabel Conway for World Report at St. James in Barbados.